Hey friends, welcome back to the program. Doug and Lisa High with you on location. This is rare. They don't let us out of the studio much.
They really don't.
And we found ourselves in another studio, a beautiful recording studio here with our friends at Long Island Recording Studios in Lexington. Total pros here, and you've got a pro to introduce us to.
That's right. I am here with Nashville recording artist, singer-songwriter, Ryne Brashear. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you guys for having me here.
Well, thanks for having us in your office today, Ryne. I mean, it's going to be so awesome working in a facility like this.
Yeah, it's I've been very lucky in a lot of things I've gotten to do in music, and getting to work here and getting to work some places in Nashville. It's been very, very, very awesome. Very.
I mean, you walk in and you see all these levers and knobs and sliders, and you're like, what is the deal here? But this is a professional recording studio for professionals. And we got to say, from a Kentuckian to Kentuckian here, we're real proud of you.
Well, thank you very much.
And we want to learn a little bit more about where you're from in Kentucky and a little bit about your background.
I grew up in Upton, Kentucky, which is central Kentucky, about an hour south of Louisville, a little bit north of Bowling, kind of like right in the middle. And I grew up on a cattle farm there, working for probably 20 years doing that before I decided to drop out of college and move to Lexington and then start. I met Will and started recording here and doing some things, and that's where it all started.
And this is a working farm. I mean, you hear a lot about Lexington farms, the beautiful horse farms and things, but this is a working cattle farm. So, I mean, this is where the work ethic comes from.
Yeah, that's where it started. That's and of course, growing up, I couldn't wait to get. I was like, man, I can't wait to move away from here. I cannot wait to move out and do something, move to the big city and see what that's all about. Of
Absolutely.
Course, 10 years later, I'm like, I cannot wait to move back home.
So okay, how did you get into the music and decide that you wanted to be a musician? How did that come upon you? What inspired you?
Well, my family, I come from a very musical family.
Okay.
But I didn't really get into of course, my mom and dad, they sing gospel and they sing in church. And I got all my aunts, they play piano, and they're very knowledgeable about music. They can read music good in theory, and I didn't get that. I tried, and luckily I was blessed with an ear and I could hear it and do that. But just kind of being around it, I guess it got me into it. And then my oldest sister, she got me into Metallica. It took me to a different concert, but then took me to a Metallica concert, and that's kind of where it all started. And then I remember watching. I remember the first moment I wanted to play guitar. I saw the Old Grey Whistle Test, and Leonard Skinner was on there playing Sweet Home Alabama. And I kicked that off, and I asked my dad, I was like, "Can you teach me how to play that?" And he said, "No." I don't know how. And so I started taking lessons from my 7th grade science teacher, Mr. Todd. So that's where it all started. And that's when, like I said, I was in 7th grade and went on through high school, played baseball, and I thought, man, that's something I want to do until I started playing music. And once music kind of slowly but surely started taking more precedence over baseball. And I just played baseball in high school. I mean, I loved it for a long time, but I thought about quitting, and Dad was like, well, if you quit, you got to get a job. I was like, well, if I get a job, I'm not going to have time to play music as much. So
those dads are really good about saying that.
Music should be the job, and if you're playing music, it's not really working, right? I mean, it's part of who you are.
That's right, and of course, I went to college for a couple of years, and I was like, I know what I want to do, and this is not it. I knew I wanted to play music, and it took them a little while, my parents, to kind of get on board with the whole thing, but coming here to Will's got a great recording school here, and I went to that, and that kind of, they saw that side of it, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, they actually can show you a way forward in this incredibly difficult and competitive industry. Very, very cool. Well, anytime you've got a foundation of gospel, if that's your bedrock, I've never seen anyone not hit the mark.
Absolutely.
Without adding that as your bedrock. And then you put Metallica on top of that. We've got to
mix well, but
we got to be moving in the right direction here. And a little Skinner, for flavor. This is fantastic. So we've got to ask you about this very patriotic single you have out. And let me just say, as a veteran of foreign war, as a 20-year Navy Reserve veteran, this song means a lot to me. And I know it's going to mean a lot to all of our servicemen and women out there. So I'm just curious where this came from, how it inspired you to write it.
Well, first off, thank you for your service. And it was actually one of my buddies, Aaron Holt, he had the song idea. And he plays drums for me. And he said, man, we got to write this song called My Kind of Hero. And, of course, when you say like, hey, we need to write this song, that's something that me and him probably say. We're good buddies, and we'll say that, hey, we got to write this song. Hey, we got to write this song. We got to write this song. And we probably got, I would say, anywhere between 200 to 300 ideas that we haven't written yet.
Wow.
So it kind of gets, we're like, all right, we'll do it. And then a couple weeks go by, and I had a show in Sonora, Kentucky, and we were going up, and we got about 2 hours on the road. So I was like, all right, this is a good time to knock that out. So as we were driving up there, we wrote that song, and he'd already written some of it on it. And, of course, he's got family that's, military, police officers, firefighters.
First responders. Yeah.
And my grandfather, he was in the Air Force. My wife, she's a nurse.
Awesome.
So, and I've got a lot of buddies who went on to, they're in the military and went on to, some of them went on to the police academy. So it came from a real place. And then after a couple of years ago, the year that we had with, some of the first responders I didn't feel like they were getting the credit that they deserve. People kind of giving them a bad rap. I was like, man, that ain't right. Because there's a lot that we wouldn't be able to do without all the people that fall into that category.
No question.
So we wrote that kind of song, and I just thought we wrote it in a way that hopefully nobody can really dislike it or anything.
It's
imagine.
Just
kind of spreading the love, like we appreciate all the people and what they do.
Right. Well, and it comes from a place of love, and you understand service, and that shows very clearly through the song. I also love, too, that you're telling a great story in this song, too, about a young person, kind of being introduced to these big concepts of service and honor and duty, and it just, it really rings true for people who have served. So thumbs up from this one vet.
Well,
but I know there's going to be a line of me behind this tune. So you're going to be playing this out a bit, I imagine.
We've already started, and we've gotten some really good feedback from it. I had a guy playing down in Nashville that they had a guy from Canada down there, and he found me on Facebook, and he sent me a message, and he's a musician too, and he's like, hey man, can you send me the chords and the lyrics? And I was like, yeah. He was like, I got a gig coming up, and I'd like to play your song. And I was like, heck yeah, man.
As a musician, what does that mean to you?
That's to me, that's kind of like the ultimate as a songwriter, especially like when you get people coming up and requesting your songs, it's hard to beat that.
Yeah. So I'm not James Taylor, but this is pretty cool.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, that's when you've struck the right chord, so to speak, right?
Right. And just kind of seeing, I mean, when you're playing in a place where people come to hear covers and you play one of your songs and it goes over well, it's like the honest test. Because if they don't like it, you know right pretty instantly. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
So I've played a few that you see about half the bar get up and leave. I'm like, all right, knock that one off the list. We don't need to play it anymore.
So you're a songwriter. Where do you get your ideas for your songs? I know because you have to come up with a lot of different ideas, something unique, something special. Where do you get those?
In the shower, where it's the most inconvenient.
Absolutely.
That's where I always sound the best. Is in the shower singing. That's
true.
it. That's the only place.
I don't know. They just come. I don't know. Just from real life, kind of like I've got one called. I got a song I've written. It's called "Redneck Money," and it's I got it from I was playing a gig somewhere, and I know there's a buddy of mine who's got this big old yacht, and I'm like, dude, you like country is all get out, and I don't know, that just title came to me, and
I love it.
That's awesome.
I don't know, I've got a song called "My Old Man," and that's probably a song I wrote it with Don Goodman. I wrote most of it by myself, and then kind of sat on it for a couple of years, and then rewrote it with him, and it's 100% a true story, and it's just about my dad, and he's kind of the reason I got into music, because he played in bands and stuff, and he's taught me a lot about farming, and I think I'll be the 6th or 7th generation to farm our farm.
And you're still doing it. You get the call, and you're like, I finished this gig, and I'll be back up.
I gotta go work cattle or something. Yeah, I've had to do that before. Somebody's like, "Hey, can you play with me?" I'm like, "No, I gotta go home. I gotta do this."
I love that though.
I
that
do
is
too.
so awesome that you do that.
I appreciate it a lot more than I used to. Usually, I was like, I didn't have a lot of desire to go back. But the longer I've been away, the more I want to go back.
You discover what's important out there on the road, right? Well, I have to ask you this as a working musician. I mean, and I know the originals are vitally important. That's from your heart. But everyone wants to hear covers too, right?
Yeah.
So just kind of curious what your mix of covers might look like if we came out to see you one night. What could we expect?
A little bit of everything, probably. We do
Metallica?
We do Metallica, yeah. Not at this time of year. The allergies are kind of rough, so it's hard to hit some of the notes. But we do everything from probably Merle Haggard and George Jones to Brooks and Dunn to Blink-182 to Skinner to Metallica to even Little Whitesnake every now and then. So
isn't it amazing how those different genres can merge up now? I almost feel like it was the Eagles and that Southern California sound in the 70s that found a way to take country and rock and said, you know what, this is all kind of the same family, really.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you look back, like even the Beatles, were like the Beatles and the Stones, were like they started rock and roll. But if you listen back to some of their stuff, there's country music nowadays. It's a little more rock than that was.
Right.
So it's evolved a lot. But I don't know, playing. I would say my set list when I first moved to Nashville, doing the whole cover thing, has definitely grown quite a bit because I think I knew probably 60 songs total. And I didn't know any Garth Brooks songs when I moved to Nashville. I had to learn Friends in Low Places.
Is that an absolute essential for Nashville?
Yeah.
You can't walk in without a Garth Brooks cover?
Yeah. Every now and then it's kind of funny because people come up and that's like the only song they know. People come to Nashville that don't like country music. I'm like, well, but they're like, I like this one song. And they'll come and say, can you play Friends in Low Places by George Strait? I'm like, I can play one of the versions of it, so I don't know if I'll play that one or not. But
wow!
So you get some funny requests like that too. But yeah, you get after people come up and start requesting stuff, you're like, I need to go home and learn that. And you just kind of learn from their requests, and you learn from other musicians. You play with other bands.
Yeah.
And I played with a lot of different people down there, and people are like, is this your band? I'm like, no, this is the first time I met some of these people. It's one of those instances sometimes. And they might play a song, and I'll have to. They'll just like say, hey, these are the chords, and when I look at you, go to this chord.
Jump in.
Yeah. So, and you might learn a song that way and be like, I'm going to actually go home and practice this and play it right next time.
Nice.
But you learn from a lot of other people.
So what is the plan moving forward? Where are you right now with your career, and where are you wanting to go?
We're trying to get a lot more content, original content, and My Kind of Hero is the first song to come out, and we're planning on releasing a 6-song EP and promote it the rest of the year, and do a lot more traveling, maybe coming to, because I've spent the past few years in Nashville where all the tourists come to Nashville, and I think we're going to do the opposite now and kind of go start traveling out, because we played a couple shows up in Cleveland. And it's a different energy when you go on there. Nashville's a little overwhelming, like you said. The streets grown quite a bit, and you got a lot of competition down there. But when you go to somebody else's town, it's like there's not a street with 100 bars and 100 great bands. So people come and they it means a little bit more to them. It's like
it does.
Music.
And they look forward to it too, because you're an original artist.
Right.
You're doing original songs.
Yeah.
People love that. They really do.
For sure.
So we'll be releasing a couple new singles throughout the rest of the year, and I'm really excited about those because during 2020 we weren't playing much gigs, so I spent a lot of time writing. I think I wrote 20 songs and recorded them, and I wrote more than that, but I picked some of them were not worth recording, so they're still in the workshop.
Let it ferment for a while, you know.
Let them sit. So
exactly.
But we got a lot of stuff to pick from, and I've written with some good writers who are some good buddies of mine, and we're excited to get them out there. This first one's going great, and hearing some of the comments about just people's personal experience being either first responders and just kind of, I had a police officer in Mount Juliet reach out and just wanted to say thank you for the support. And that means a lot. Like, we couldn't do this without you guys. So it means a lot for them to reach out to me and say thanks.
I'm glad you're leading with the song. I mean, you get those VFWs and those American Legions on board. I mean, you're going to have that core fan base following on what's next, what's the next song. You know? So I think that's a really great way to go. Yeah,
and the cool thing about the video, there's no the people in the video are not actors. It's all real police officers and real. My wife's in it.
Like you said, you've been surrounded by first responders your whole life. So
and in the American Legion, the first line's American Legion Post 139. That's actually
it's a real place.
That's the place that we wrote it about. It's in West Virginia where my drummer's from, and he wrote that line, and he went back and got some video. So it's like the actual. Well, I know there's might be more than one, but I think that's the one that he was talking about.
That's really cool. I want to close out with, and we're not going to throw out any dates here because we don't want to date ourselves, but back in the day when my wife was pursuing a singer-songwriter career, you had to have the CD or there was just no other way to go, but the world's changed.
It has.
And there's YouTube, there's social media. So what is the best way for folks to support you right now, to learn more about you, to follow your adventure out there on the road, and to keep bringing that music in that you're putting out so well?
Well, we have a website, RyneBrashear.com, and Facebook, Instagram is where we're posting a lot of dates and just new content of what we're doing, and just kind of keeping people up to date on what's going on with everything. And then all the songs will be on My Kind of Heroes on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, and everything that we release from here on out will be on all the streaming platforms.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And it's what a great way for your fan base to get to know you better. It was so hard connecting back in the day before social media. So what a blessing to have this for, sometimes social media is not a blessing. And in this case it is. Because people can really see what's coming from the heart.
Right.
And that's what we love about you.
Well, it's like you said, sometimes it's good. In this case, it is good. It's very handy to have that, to be able to reach so many people. So.
Very cool. Well, thanks for having us in your office for today. We hope we can indulge us to visit our office someday at ABC 36 and stop by the studio. We'd love to hear some acoustic based stuff. And anytime you're in town.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Appreciate it. Best of luck out there.
Thank you.